Have you ever tried to run away from something you were supposed to do? Maybe it was a chore, a tough conversation, or a big responsibility. Well, today we re-diving into a story about a guy who tried to run away from God himself. This is the incredible story of Jonah. Our story starts with Jonah, a prophet of God. One day, God gives him a very specific and very difficult command. God says, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me." Now, you have to understand, Nineveh was the capital of Assyria. And the Assyrians were the arch-enemies of Jonah's people, the Israelites. They were known for their cruelty and violence. So, being told to go to the heart of enemy territory and tell them they're wicked. That's like walking into a lioness den and telling the lions they need to go on a diet. It was a terrifying, seemingly impossible task. So, what does Jonah do? Does he trust God and go? He does the exact opposite. He runs. Jonah goes down to the port city of Joppa, finds a ship heading to Tarshish, which was in the complete opposite direction of Nineveh, about as far away as he could possibly get, pays the fare, and gets on board thinking he can escape from the presence of the Lord. Spoiler alert, you can't run from God as the ship sets sail. Jonah probably breathes a sigh of relief. He's on his way, leaving his troubles behind. But God has other plans. The Lord sends a great wind on the sea, and a violent storm arises. This isn't just a little bad weather. It's a superstorm that threatens to break the ship to pieces. The sailors, all seasoned seafarers, are terrified. They start throwing the cargo overboard to lighten the ship, and each one cries out to his own God for help. And where is Jonah during all this chaos? He's fast asleep down in the hold of the ship. The ship's captain finds him and wakes him up, saying, "How can you be sleeping? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish." The sailors, desperate to find the cause of this freak storm, decide to cast lots to see who is responsible for this calamity. And who do you think the lot falls on? Of course, it falls on Jonah. They surround him, demanding answers. Tell us, who is responsible for this? What is your occupation? Where do you come from? What is your country? From what people are you? Jonah finally fesses up. He tells them, "I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." He then admits that he's running away from the Lord and that this storm is all his fault. The men are even more terrified now. The sea is getting rougher and rougher. They ask Jonah, "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us?" Jonah knows there's only one way. "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he says, "and it will become calm. I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." The sailors, to their credit, don't want to do it. They're pagans, but they show more compassion than the prophet of God at this point. They try with all their might to row back to land, but the storm is just too powerful. Finally, realizing it's hopeless, they pray to Jonah's God, asking for forgiveness for what they are about to do. Then they take Jonah and throw him overboard. And just like that, the raging sea grows calm. The sailors are in absolute awe. They have witnessed the power of the one true God, and they offer a sacrifice and make vows to him. So, what about Jonah? Is this the end of his story? Far from it. As he sinks into the depths, God appoints a new mode of transportation for him, a giant fish. The great fish swallows Jonah whole, and he remains inside it for 3 days and 3 nights. Can you imagine that? Inside the dark, smelly, slimy belly of a giant fish, surrounded by seaweed and whatever else the fish had for lunch. This was Jonah's rock bottom. It was in this desperate place that Jonah finally turned back to God. He prays. It's a beautiful prayer, recorded in the 2nd chapter of the book of Jonah. He cries out to God from the depths, acknowledging his sin and recognizing that salvation comes from the Lord alone. He realizes he can't escape God, and in his desperation, he finally surrenders. After 3 days, God commands the fish, and it vomits Jonah out onto dry land. I can't imagine that was a pleasant experience, but Jonah is alive, and he's been given a second chance. Now, what do you think God says to him? See? I told you so. Nope. The word of the Lord comes to Jonah a second time with the exact same message as before. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. This time, Jonah obeys. He gets up and goes to Nineveh. And Nineveh was huge, a 3-day journey just to walk across it. Jonah walks a day's journey into the city and begins to preach a very simple 5-word sermon in Hebrew. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. That's it. No long-winded speech, no fancy arguments, just a stark warning. And the result is absolutely astonishing. The people of Nineveh believe God. From the greatest to the least, they believe the message. The king of Nineveh himself hears the news, gets off his throne, takes off his royal robes, covers himself with sackcloth, and sits in dust, the ultimate sign of mourning and repentance. He issues a decree for the entire city, even the animals, to fast and be covered in sackcloth. He commands everyone to call on God urgently and to give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? The king says, God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. And what does God do? When God sees their genuine repentance, that they have turned from their evil ways, he has compassion. He does not bring about the destruction he had threatened. Mercy triumphs over judgment. This should be the happy ending, right? The runaway prophet obeys, the wicked city repents, and God shows mercy. Everyone wins, but Jonah doesn't see it that way. He is furious. He goes out of the city, finds a spot to the east, builds a little shelter, and sits down to watch and see what will happen, almost hoping God will change his mind and destroy the city after all. He's so angry that he prays to God, basically complaining, "Isn't this what I said, Lord, when I was still at home? This is why I was so quick to flee to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Now, Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live." Jonah is mad at God for being God. He's mad because God showed mercy to his enemies. His heart was so hard that he would rather see an entire city of over 120,000 people destroyed than see God's grace extended to them. God isn't finished teaching Jonah yet. He asks him a simple question: Is it right for you to be angry? Then God provides a leafy plant to grow up over Jonah, giving him shade from the sun. Jonah is very happy about this plant, makes his miserable sulking a little more comfortable. But the next day, God provides a worm that chews the plant so that it withers. Then God sends a scorching east wind, and the sun beats down on Jonah's head so that he grows faint and wishes for death again. God asks him another question: Is it right for you to be angry about the plant? It is, Jonah says. I'm so angry, I wish I were dead. And here comes the final powerful lesson from God. He says, You have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. And should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left hand, also many animals? And that's where the story ends, with a question. We don't know how Jonah responded. The focus shifts from Jonah's anger to God's incredible, boundless compassion. The story isn't just about a man who ran from God. It's about a God who pursues the runaway, who offers second chances, and whose mercy extends even to the most undeserving, to our enemies, to those we think are beyond hope. It challenges us to look at our own hearts. Are we like Jonah, wanting God's grace for ourselves, but not for others? Do we get angry when God shows mercy to people we don't like? The story of Jonah is a beautiful, uncomfortable, and powerful reminder that God's love and compassion are far bigger than our own. He is the God of the Israelites and the Ninevites, the God of you and me. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the powerful stories of the Bible. See you next time.